After the sad loss of Vidal Sassoon. Thank you for stepping in at the last minute. You've done a fantastic job.
The hairdresser, I think.
The ushers, Rip and Dave. Thanks for being ushers today. I know there wasn't much for you to do, but looked good. And although you may have let me down somewhat, I understand you tried your best. And finally, the best man, my brother. I'll thank you in advance. I wish you all the best with your best man speech. No pressure to be witty or funny. If you feel a bit nervous, just remember everyone is watching you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, John and Rob, for their speeches. As some of you know, I'm John's young brother, Richard. It was a great privilege to be asked by John to be his best man, although I haven't really been looking forward to this moment. John quite generously returned the favour I asked of him 4 years ago and gave me the opportunity to reply to his speech and return some of the kind words and photos he passed to me on that day. The ushers, Dave and Griff, are currently passing out some of John's favourites. Usually follow my words. I'm sure there are a lot of John stories which haven't made it back to his family, which is probably part of the reason he's asked me to be best man.
Can I have one more, please?
So although the court sections of the camp time have been helpful, it's probably much less than half the story.
Oh my God.
Johnson, you've only seen him.
Where was that taken? Where was that taken? In your picture? I'm sorry,
Carry on. Baby John Paul Blythe was born 8 a.m. 19th May 1971 in March Nursing Home. Firstborn to Diane and Roger. He's always maintained that he had a neglected childhood. His younger brothers and sisters getting all the attention. I suspect that's more related to how spoiled he was in those early years before we arrived. He was certainly fed enough, as can be seen in his baby photo. Young John wasn't particularly keen or interested at school. After a second attempt, he managed to walk away with his 6 O-levels. After a brief role as a cashier at Peckham Packers, having enjoyed art at school, he got a job designing cardboard boxes at Amazon. work throughout his 20s. After a bit of wheeler dealing and illegal taxis in Ibiza, how he's managed to turn himself into a city coin dealer, I'm not sure. Although I can kind of see him as a young David Dickinson. The sunbed he used to have in his flat certainly gave him a similar chance. Me and John, given John's several years older than me, I had a normal childhood having an older brother, several years of torture. His favourites were wedgies and sitting me on the floor with my feet either side of my head. I probably did wind him up a bit. He once tried to jab me out of the big apple tree in the back garden with a big stick after catching me messing with his favourite Kuros aftershave. John's taken quite a keen interest in his hair over the years. He had his Duran Duran days, as his college ID photo shows. He had his neighbour's days, when he had a rear perm. And he even had his Bob Marley days, when he had his dreadlocks. John's hair has settled down recently, although there were some problems with highlights last year. This led to him wearing a hat for a number of weeks, until his ginger locks disappeared. John's had quite an eventful relationship with cars over the years. It started with his brown Fiesta, that according to Mum, he wrote off because it wasn't cool enough. Which didn't make complete sense when he followed it up with his much trendier Citroen 2CV with red and white striped roof. He also had many a crash with others, leaving a car embedded in the lamppost on Boroughmore Road. He had his neck in a brace when he had what he referred to as his Dukes of Hazzard moment, when Griff missed the right turn when reaching the A47 on the way back from Whittlesea, launching him and John into the field on the other side of the junction. I would say that John's put this all behind him, but within the last year he's been caught attempting to break the M11 speed record. He had a police car following him for 10 minutes doing 110 and causing a tailback on the March bypass, cruising along with 2 flat tyres and no MOT. Before I get to Miriam, I probably should talk about the third party in their relationship. The nights and weekends he still spends away from home, all the money he still spends, the hundreds of photos and details he still has on his phone, and probably the main reason this wedding's taken so long to come. His first true love. Not Julie, but fishing. Which he's loved since he was little, and I'm sure he's got another trip lined up to help him recover from the honeymoon. Finally, there's Miriam and John. I asked them where they met. John said, some pub in March, the Red Line I think. Ask Miriam. Miriam said, I'd seen John getting out of his car a year before we met, and thought, wow. We were then introduced in the Red Line and kind of got together in March's premiere night slot, Minstrels. They got engaged a couple of years ago. A few people expressed their concern as to whether they were doing the right thing. Having only been together 12 years, it seemed like they were rushing into it. John slipped the engagement ring on an asleep Miriam's finger in the middle of the night in Italy. So after Miriam found the ring getting up for a wee later in the night, John ended up romantically proposing by the loo in their hotel bathroom. I'm sure you'll all agree, John and Miriam are an ideal fit and will have a great married life together. So if you'll all be upstanding for the bride and groom. To the bride and groom.